Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Mysticall, and finally, I'm bringing you guys an 8.2 Mistweaver Monk PvP guide. I waited because I expected there to be more nerfs, but I feel like they're kind of done with nerfs. I don't think they're going to nerf anything to monks. We'll get into nerfs that happen to monks in 8.2 in a little bit, but this video is going to have everything from essences to PvP talents to rotation, so feel free to stick along. I'm going to try and not make this video too long. These videos always get long. I'm going to just try and tone it down a bit. But yeah, if you guys enjoy it, feel free to keep watching. If you want a written version, I do have it written on Icy Veins. They do have a PvP section. I do a large majority of the guides. There is a Mistweaver one. I'll put it in the description below. And without further ado, let's just get right into the video. Before we continue with the video, I just want to point out that while recording this video, I forgot to mention the stat priority for Mistweaver Monks. What you're going to be running is Versatility, Mastery, Haste, Critical Strike. That's what you're going to want. Versatility and Mastery being your best stats. You don't need to focus that much on Mastery because as Mistweaver Monks, the stat multiplier is already extremely high for Mistweavers. So what you really want is Versatility, Enchant for Versatility, enchant your weapon with the mana one, which I think I talk about later in the video, but most importantly, Versatility, Mastery in all of your gear. And I hope that helps. I apologize for missing this part, but let's continue with the video. So the first thing I'm going to talk about are the essences. For those of you who are newer or haven't actually been keeping up with 8.2, these are essences. You unlock them through your neck. You can unlock these through pretty much any version, through anything throughout the game. Like these are unlocked through Mythic Plus. There's Island Expedition 1, and yeah, so these give you a major power. You can socket one major power, and you have slots for 2 essences. You unlock the other 2 by getting your neck level higher. So I believe this is 55, and then at 65 you can unlock another minor essence. But you only get one major, and this major ability is actually super powerful. And for monks, I've been leaning towards Memory of Lucid Dream. I'm at rank 3 now. You get this from doing the dailies in Najatir, something like that. It's the new water zone. It's just the dailies with your little follower. This was recently nerfed. This one and the Ever-Rising Tide were both nerfed, but I think Memory of Lucid Dream is still good. I haven't had run into a problem with it. This gives you this ability right here. So this is a major power. It's called Memory of Lucid Dream, and it increases your mana regeneration by 100% and your leech by 788 for 15 seconds. The leech really isn't that important, but what's really important is the mana regeneration for 15 seconds. 15. So I think rank 1 is like 10 seconds, rank 2 is 12, and I think rank 3 is 15. But 15 seconds, that's absolutely insane. You will never run out of mana. This allows you, Crane was recently nerfed. I'll probably talk about it when I talk about PvP talents, but Crane was nerfed. But if you still use Crane, this gives you a chance to use Crane without Mana Tea at least once throughout a match and just use Memory of Lucid Dream. Anyway, this is probably your best major trait. I haven't run into any other major traits that I really enjoy. Lifebinder's Invocation is pretty good. The problem is that it's a 2.5 minute cooldown, and it's a 2.2 second cast. So I'm pretty sure I can just show you guys right here. So this is what it does. Cast it on, it'll be at teammates, and you see 40 stacks of this. So when you take damage, you heal for 5,000, and these 40 stacks will spread across your teammates. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good. It's probably good versus like double caster teams. It's not bad because normally you don't run out of mana versus double casters like Shadow Priest, maybe Mage or something like that, because you're normally seeing a lot of crowd control. And then the other one is Rip One Space. I just did a video maybe early last week, of Rip One Space, and what this one does, I don't know if I can switch it. Yeah, it's like a 2.5 minute cooldown. What this does is this basically gives you a 1 minute port. So you could, if you use it, you could place your port. You can just use it, and after 2 seconds, it ports you over there. It's pretty cool. It's really good versus teams that might train you down, but it's a bit of a gamble because if teams don't go you, it's pretty much useless. It's literally useless if they don't go you. Something a little tiny that you can actually do with it is if you use it and then you get stunned up, it'll actually port you while stunned, which I think is pretty good versus hunter teams. Maybe Ret Pally, Ret Hunter. If you can predict the Hodge and you can get this off before you get Hodge, there's a chance they miss the trap. But for the most part, for major essences, Memory of Lucid Dream is the best. Follow my Rip One Space if I think a team is going to train you to the ground. Those are my 2 go-tos. Now, the Ever-Rising Tide was recently nerfed, but it's still really good. Again, this gives you a chance of restoring mana or give you an intellect buff. Either way, they're both really strong. This is a huge intellect buff. It's so good. So that's why I run Ever-Rising Tide. This, for now, a lot of people probably don't have their next on, but at 65, the best is going to be Conflict and Strife. Now, again, this is a minor slot, so if you're mousing over the Ever-Rising Tide, the major, you don't get the major power, you get the minor power. So for this one right here, the minor slot, it's definitely going to be Conflict and Strife. So your spells and abilities have a chance to increase your versatility by 25 seconds for 14 seconds, stacks up to 5 times, but also if you like get put into crowd control or movement impairing effects, you get a stack of Strife. That's insane. So that means if you get stunned, slowed, if you get trained by Death Knight, Windwalker, Death Knight, every time they slow you, you're going to get a stack of that minor. So that's why this Conflict and Strife is so actually, if you're playing against Walking Dead and you feel like they're going to train you, Conflict and Strife minor is much better than the Ever-Rising Tide. So you should, if you think you're going to get trained, 100%, and if you only have one slot open, 100% run a Conflict and Strife as your minor and make Memory of Lucid Dreams your major. Or if you know you're going to get trained, Rip on Space and then Conflict and Strife as your minor. I mean, those are pretty much it. And that's pretty much it for essences. It was a little bit confusing at first, I'm not going to lie. I honestly didn't know much what was going on. But as soon as you get used to it, you can unlock pretty much all of these. This is rank 3. It's pretty good. I got to unlock, you start at rank 1, you can get to rank 4. But rank 4 is purely cosmetic. So for power-wise, rank 3 is the highest you can get. Like Memory of Lucid Dreams can't get any better than rank 3. But there's an increased visual because I believe there's a really good, let me see. Yeah, so you get a really cool cosmetic when you get to rank 4. And that's pretty much it for essences. I'm going to run through it one more time just to be completely clear. It is Memory of Lucid Dreams is the best overall, 99% of matches, with Ever-Rising Tide as the minor. If you think you're going to get trained, you could run Rip One Space for the extra port and then Conflict and Strife for the versatility buff if you're going to get trained. And that's pretty much it for the essences. So let's just run through these towers real quick. I don't change these very often. In the first tier, Mist Wrap, increases enveloping mist duration by 1 second and its healing bonus by 10%. This is just, I've never changed this the entire expansion. It's really good. There is a case versus Shadow Priest. If you're playing against a team like Shadow Priest Ellie that can absolutely just purge you to the ground, there's a case for Chi Wave if you're running Crane. But I think Mistwrap is still the best. I think you should definitely run Mistwrap. In the second tier, you have Tiger's Lust, Chi Torpedo, or Celerity. This tier I get questions a lot because I enjoy running Celerity. I'll talk about why. Basically, it's from it's a trait called Exit Strategy. But you could also run Chi Torpedo with Exit Strategy. So rule of thumb is on larger maps, like 12 Run Arena, I like Chi Torpedo. It helps me get from pillar to pillar, especially if teams are trying to, swap to me or something. Chi Torpedo is really good. Tiger's Lust is really good versus Frost Mage teams and Death Knight teams. That's where I pretty much run Tiger's Lust for my teammates, not for me, unless they're trying to Frost Nova into a Ring of Frost, the mage. I'll use Tiger's Lust on myself, but for the most part, Tiger's Lust versus Death Knight teams because they have Chains of Ice, that's pretty much spammable, and then versus mage teams because they have Frost Nova. Outside of that, it's really dependent on you. I like Celerity just because I have 3 charges of it and it reduces the charge time. So I like that. But Chi Torpedo is really good on larger maps, especially if you be pushing it for crowd control. If the enemy team is playing with like a Resto Druid that could just stay max distance and you don't need to push in, and they don't have to push in, you're going to need Chi Torpedo because you're going to be the one that's going to have to initiate the crowd control for your team, and you're going to have to push in, and Chi Torpedo helps with that. In this third tier, Manatee every time. That's just how it is. Manatee works really well with some of your abilities, especially abilities like Crane, and it's just overall really good. You can rotate Manatee with, again, your Memory of Lucid Dreams Major Essence. It's really good. You really shouldn't have many mana issues. I'll talk about why and help you improve because I used to have a lot of trouble with mana. In the third tier, I love Ring of Peace, but man, I love Song of Chi-Ji too. So I get this question asked quite a few times: is when do you use Song of Chi-Ji? In 2s, pretty much every match. Unless it's like an Assassination Rogue, even then I kind of want to run it for Assassination Rogues. On smaller maps like Dalaran Sewers and Ruins of Lordaeron, I won't play Song of Gigi versus like an Assassination Rogue or Death Knight because they will train you and they will interrupt you. So I don't play Song versus on the smaller maps, but on larger maps, I will play Song of Gigi in 2s. In 3s, it's kind of difficult to say versus teams with very long interrupt cooldowns. So like Shadow Priest, Balance Druid, they have really long interrupts. They don't even have interrupts; they're just silences. That's when I'll play Song of Chi-Ji. But for the most part, Ring of Peace is such a versatile talent. Like you could use this for anything. You could use this. Sorry, one second. Let me get this macro down. I'll talk about macros at the end. You could use Ring of Peace for anything. You could use it for yourself, for your teammates, for an interrupt, for a knockoff. It's literally, I think it's the most versatile talent in the game, and that's why I like Ring of Peace. So yeah, Song of Chi-Ji on larger maps, especially versus like Resto Druids, because if you don't have them in crowd control, they could honestly keep their team alive forever, especially since they're probably using mana essences. Ring of Peace on larger maps and or on maps where you want the interrupt knockoff. Blades Edge Arena is really good. For this 75 tier, I don't really use Dampen Harm that much. It's good versus Destro Locks, but so is Diffuse Magic. So I just like Diffuse Magic. It has a shorter cooldown, and I really like it. Healing Elixirs is pretty much my go-to these days. I used to run just Diffuse Magic when everyone was running Maledict because it automatically dispelled the Maledict, but Healing Elixirs is really, really strong. It doesn't cost any mana, so even in dampening, you don't have to waste the mana on putting a Renewing Mist on yourself, right? You don't need to use a Renewing Mist on yourself or like quick enveloping. You could just use double Healing Elixir or Healing Elixir. It's really good. So I like playing Healing Elixirs. Diffuse Magic versus teams with double caster like Shadow Priest, Destro Lock, or something like that. In the 90 tier, I've only played Summon Jade Serpent Statue. This is normally my maybe fourth or fifth heal every match, which is really good because you place it down and then you pretty much forget about it. But you need to remember, you need to be in line of sight for this thing to heal you. So just remember that this thing won't, it shouldn't. I really hope it doesn't. This shouldn't heal you through the wall. Yeah. Oh, I think it still is. Yeah, it actually still is. It shouldn't. In Arena, it doesn't. So you need to remember to constantly keep placing your port down over and over if your team is moving. One thing, because that's really annoying if you're not getting the extra healing. One little quick tip about Statue, especially versus RMPs, teams that usually get the opener. If you're playing like Turbo or TSG and you know they're going to go on your Warrior, make sure you start the arena and you start casting Soothing Mist on your Warrior. So that way, if I'm sapped, it's okay because my Statue is still going to be healing my Warrior for 2,300 every second, which it doesn't seem like a lot, but in the long run, it could prevent you from trinketing, or you can, sit a little more crowd control than what you normally can. And then the final tier, you have Focus Thunder. It is the best talent in this tier. I haven't switched out of it the entire expansion. I thought Rising Mist was going to be good. I really did, but it's just not as strong as I wish it was. And Focus Thunder is really good for your healing output and burst healing, and it works in so many different situations. It's just really good. I'll talk about it during healing rotations, but this is just a really solid talent. It's really good. And that's pretty much it for the regular talents. Let's jump right into the PvP talents. So for PvP talents, I'm just going to talk about it. There was a nerf to Wave the Crane. Wave the Crane healing output was reduced by 40%. That's a huge nerf. That's huge. Now, the damage wasn't nerfed. That's the important thing. But the healing was nerfed. So you cannot rely on Way the Crane defensively. You can still use Way the Crane aggressively, which is something I enjoy doing. That's why I like Crane so much. But you cannot depend on it as a healing cooldown anymore. So as far as PvP talents go, I pretty much run Trinket every game. I don't think there's not many situations where I run Relentless or Adept. I am Orc, so Adept is actually pretty good versus Hunter Ret teams. It's pretty solid. Because you adapt every other trap, and then you just rotate cooldowns every other trap that you don't have adapt. So it's pretty good, but outside of Hunter teams, Gladiator's Medallion is definitely the best, especially if you're Orc. If you're not Orc, you're going to want the opposite. If you're human, you'll probably play Relentless a lot, and you have human racial, but even if you're not human or Orc, Trinket's still probably the best. Chrysalis, ever since they buffed it, I haven't switched it. So Chrysalis every game, every single game. Reducing the cooldown of Life Cocoon by 45 seconds is just insane. And that in combination with Burst Life, it makes Life Cocoon have 55-second cooldown. That's absolutely insane. Now, as far as the other ones go, it's really dependent on what you're playing against, believe it or not. I know it's crazy. So I'm just going to throw out some scenarios, and this is what I run. Let's say I'm running against a team with Double Caster, Shadow Priest, Desherlock, pretty common comp. Shadow Priest, Desherlock, I play Counteract Magic because they have Vampiric Touch, Shadow Word Pain, and then they also have Immolate. So they have 3 dots. Counteract Magic is insane. And then I'll probably run Refreshing Breeze for the healing output or Zen Focus Tea, depending on how confident I am that I can trick the Warlock. Really, if they're with a Resto Shaman, I'll play Zen Focus Tea because then they just have that wind shear, which is so annoying. If they're playing with a Resto Druid, I'll probably play Refreshing Breeze because Refreshing Breeze, you're not doing it for the Essence font, you're doing it for the increased healing and Vivify, which is pretty much your main heal now, and it just helps you recover. So yeah, that's what I run. Now, if they're playing with the Resto Shaman, I'll play Zen Focus Tea. So that's what I'll run versus Double Caster. Double Melee, I'll play, well, it depends. If it's TSG and I don't think they can go me, I'll play Grapple Weapon. Probably, yeah, Zen Focus Tea. This is fine. I'll probably play something like this. If they're not playing with a Shaman, I don't think they can kick me and I can max range, maybe I'll play Ray the Crane. It depends on the healer. If they're playing with a Monk, the Monk will probably eventually, so Crane actually helps with damage. And if I'm playing TSG, and if I know our game plan is to make swaps to the Monk, I'll play Crane. Because TSG damage is really scary, but if you add Crane damage on top of it, it just puts it over the top. So I think Crane is pretty good in that situation. Now, if it's Walking Dead, or if it's a team where I think they can swap to me, some team, Ellie Shaman Assassination Rogue is a team, surprisingly, that can swap to monks and almost kill you. So what I do versus teams that I feel like they can swap to me, like Jungle or something, I'll play Short Port and then Zen Focus Tea. So this is what I play versus teams that are pretty much, I think, are going to try to train me to the dirt. There is a case for Way of the Crane. You can also, if you really want to, and you really think they're going to, obviously, if they're going to focus you, you could play these talents right here, these PvP talents, and then just switch out Memory of Lucid Dream for Conflict and Strife. So that now you get Way of the Crane baseline, right? So now you can see, I could put I should be able to put Way of the Crane on my bar. Nope. Oh, it should be my spell book. No? Okay. Oh, maybe it turned, yeah, okay. So Way of the Crane, okay. I actually haven't used Conflict and Strife very often, so okay. So this just turns into Way of the Crane. You could just use Way of the Crane or the Conflict and Strife, so you get the versatility buff or minor, and then you get these 3 talents, which is honestly pretty solid. So I would take this versus like Walking Dead or Ellie Assassination Rogue, or even at Turbo that might try and go you, but they'll probably try to go you Death Knight if playing TSG. But yeah, those are pretty much the talents I run through. Grapple Weapon, I'll play versus teams with a Death Knight on it. Because, well, if our Death Knight is the primary target, I'll play Grapple Weapon. Because Death Knights cannot heal. They can't use their Death Strike while they're disarmed. They need to be able to hit something. So Disarm prevents that healing, which is pretty solid. It's really good counterplay. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't use healing elixirs too often. I'll use it sometimes if I feel like it, but I don't. And then Surging Mist, I play it versus Cupid teams. I normally versus like Cupid. There's like corner situations. Versus Cupid, I'll actually play this setup right here. There's just so much damage they have. They have so much damage, and I need to be able to recover, and sometimes Vivify isn't enough. So Surging Mist, it makes you pretty fast, but the healing output is absolutely insane. So yeah, that's when I run Surging Mist. Literally only versus like Cupid, like Red Hunter, or like anything like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It is Surging Mist. And that's pretty much it for the PvP talents. I hope that's helpful. Let's run into Azerite Traits. Probably something I should have talked about sooner, but we'll just jump right into it. So as far as Azerite Traits go, now as a monk, there really isn't a cookie cutter thing you can do. Every monk that I've watched and talked to has honestly their own way of doing things, myself included. I like Burst of Life, and I like Secret Infusion. Those are my 2 favorite traits. I've seen some monks try to run the triple Overflowing Mist, but they didn't buff it, and we have larger health pools, so I don't feel like Overflowing Mists is that good. So as far as major like essences or major traits go, or the outer rings, run Secret Infusion, Burst of Life. Those are my favorite. If you have to choose between them, I go with Burst of Life. I like the huge heal you get from Life Cocoon, especially if I use it right before a crowd control and it's really good healing. That's what I'll run. Or you get a decent heal. And then outside of that, as far as menus go, I like, I believe it's this one, Blessed Portents. When an ally falls below 50%, they get a Blessed Portent and it heals them instantly for 9,000. I like that. So, you know, if you get put in a crowd control and your teammates drop low, they get a nice instant heal. And then these minors, you definitely want, I don't have it, unfortunately. I might have it in Azerite. No, I don't think I do, unfortunately. It's called, I believe it's Fortifying, oh, here we go. Strength of Spirit. While Fortifying Brew is active, heals for 2,517 every second. It's cut in half in PvP, but still, getting healed for 258.5 every second while Fortifying Brew is up is really insane. So you get damage reduction and you're healing, and it costs no mana. It's really, really good. So this is actually a really solid one. I wish this middle trait wasn't that good, or I wish this one was a little bit better. But yeah. That's pretty much it for essences. It's nothing insane. You just want some kind of combination of Secret Infusion and Burst of Life. So with that said, I think we're going to jump into actually how to heal on a Mistweaver Monk. We have the right talents, we have the right essences, we have the right traits. Let's jump right into it. So Monk healing is actually, it's decently straightforward, I feel. I've played other healers, and I think it's a little, it's hard at first, but you get more comfortable with it. So some things I want to point out before we get into the rotation is Focus Thunder. I talked about it earlier. Thunder Focus T empowers your next two abilities. So what does that mean? So you have an ability called Thunder Focus T, and it empowers a heal. If you use Thunder Focus T, Enveloping Mist immediately heals for 28,000. Renewing Mist duration is increased by 10 seconds. Vivify costs no mana, and Rising Sun Kick cooldown reduced by 9 seconds. Now, what does this mean? And how to use, you could use all four of these in four completely different situations, and that is why I love Mistweaver Monk so much. There's so much versatility with just that talent, and this one ability is literally, it makes a class so versatile. So let's just get down to it and when to use every single one. So let me just go over it. So the first one, Enveloping Mist. When your teammate is dropping low and you need a burst heal, Thunder Focus T, Casting the Mist, Enveloping Mist, boom. I don't think I have my logs up, unfortunately. Renewing Mist, Enveloping Mist, 28,000 overhealed, yeah. So what you're going to want to do, if your teammate is low on health or getting low, the first thing you're going to want to do is Thunder Focus T, Enveloping Mist them. That's a huge heal. And for those of you who don't know, Enveloping Mist increases the healing from your other spells by 40%. So while your Enveloping Mist hot is ticking, it also increases healing done by your other spells by 40%. So now let's not forget that with this talent, you also have a second charge of the empowered Thunder Focus T spell. And that's when you got to make some decisions. So what you can do is you can empower your Enveloping Mist, instantly healing for 28,000, and then follow that up. I use macros, and that's why I can't see it, but this ability right here is actually Vivify. So here, let me just throw it right there. And then you follow it up with the Vivify, and what does that do? Vivify costs no mana. So for how much mana? For 5,200 mana, you throw out an Enveloping. Your teammate is now pretty much recovered, and then you get a free Vivify. So for 5,200 mana, your teammate is basically topped, which is insane. Now you can also do some other things with teams with dots. If you're playing against a team with Shadow Priest Astral Lock again, and you're running Counteract Magic, you're probably running, let's see, Zen Focus T. You can run Thunder Focus T, and then use Renewing Mist on both of your teammates, and that makes Renewing Mist duration 30 seconds long. 30 seconds. See, you can see I have this, this is the haste from Secret Infusion, which I'll talk about, and then you could see I have the second empowered, so you could just keep using the Renewing Mist on the two teammates taking the most damage, put Renewing Mist on them, which is insane. And again, I just talked about Secret Infusion. Again, Secret Infusion is another thing that you need to keep track of. So Enveloping Mist increases your critical strike, which is okay because critical strike is cut in half in PvP. Renewing Mist increases your haste, which is decently okay. But for Vivify and Rising Sun Kick, these are the two that you need to pay attention to. Now, versatility increases your damage, and healing done, if I recall correctly. It decreases damage you take and increases damage and healing done. So, if you're playing Crane, right? If you're playing Crane and you Thunder Focus T, right? And you pop Crane and you Rising Sun Kick, you get a huge versatility buff. You get huge. So that means you're doing so much more damage with Crane up. And that's where the burst from, if you ever seen monks like in the AWC tournament or whatever, do insane damage. Granted, there aren't that many monks, but if you're ever wondering how a monk is able to do so much damage, it's because they're probably running 2 or 3 Seeker Infusions, get a Rising Sun Kick with Way of the Crane, and then they get that debuff or the buff with Seeker Infusion with huge versatility, and then the second Rising Sun Kick absolutely demolishes people. It's insane. I love it so much. And then, yeah, so that's Thunder Focus T. That's pretty much the two. So the 2 use cases for Thunder Focus T pretty much is if your teammate is low, you're going to want to Thunder Focus T, throw an enveloping up. This increases the healing of your abilities, of your other healing abilities by 40%. And then you follow that up with the Vivify, cost no mana. It's really good. If you're playing against a dot team, you're going to want to put Thunder Focus T, Renewing Mist, or even just Renewing Mist on everybody. Now, outside of Thunder Focus T cooldowns, you're going to want to always maintain Renewing Mist. Always, at all times. Make sure Renewing Mist doesn't have a charge. Always make sure the charges are always recharging. And then you're going to want to keep Soothing Mist on whoever's taking damage, and then throughout Vivify. Now, something also to note about Vivify, and not surprising, a lot of people I talk to, they don't seem to know much about this, but so Vivify does an instant heal, a single target heal, but it heals allies with Renewing Mist for 10,000. So what that means is, if I put Renewing Mist on myself, and I go and heal, I don't think there's anyone here, and I go and heal somebody, I'm going to get healed for 10,000 even though I didn't Vivify myself. So that's the spread healing, and that's why you want to keep Renewing Mist up on everybody. Because if you have Renewing Mist on 3 people, you're going to be healing with Vivify on all of them. And the Vivify AoE heal, if you're using, so let's say right now I have Renewing Mist on myself, and I use Vivify, it heals me for the instant heal, the single target heal, and then also heals me for that AoE heal because I have Renewing Mist on myself, which is insane. That's why. That's the power of spread healing from the Mistweaver Monk. And that's pretty much the rotations. It's pretty easy. Just keep Renewing Mist up. Enveloping Mist, Thunder Focus T, Enveloping Mist if they're in trouble, and then Vivify for single target healing. Now the real fun comes with the Way of the Crane rotation. Now again, when Way of the Crane was nerfed, unfortunately, but it still does an insane amount of damage. So even though you won't be using it often, I think it's important to know the Way of the Crane rotation, and this will take some practice. Trust me, I lost a lot of games. So most of the time, you're probably not gonna be able to set up Crane. Like you're not gonna be able to set 3 globals of Tiger Palm to get Teachings of the Monastery. And let me just talk about that real quick. Whenever you use Tiger Palm, you get a stack of Teachings of the Monastery. What this does is it makes your Blackout Kick hit an additional time. You can see I did additional damage there, and it gives a chance to reset the cooldown of Rising Sun Kick. So if I Rising Sun Kick, it's on cooldown, you can see, and then I have 2 stacks of Blessing Monastery, use Blackout Kick, boom, Rising Sun Kick was reset. It doesn't reset every time. That's important to note. So I'm just going to do this from like a generic, point of view where you don't have any setup. You're going to want to Mana Tea pretty much every time, as often as you can, because it's 25% of your mana. And then basically what I do is I Crane, I Thunder Focus T, I Rising Sun Kick, I Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, Tiger Palm, 3 stacks, Blackout Kick, hope for the reset, Rising Sun Kick, Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, and then Way of the Crane shoot down. That's, yeah, pretty easy. Just kidding. Basically what you're trying to do is you're weaving in Tiger Palms in between Rising Sun Kick globals, and then using Blackout Kicks when Rising Sun Kick is on a 12-second cooldown, because again, Thunder Focus T with Rising Sun, so this is the last situation with Thunder Focus T is Rising Sun Kick. It reduces the cooldown of Rising Sun Kick by 9 seconds, so it gives Rising Sun Kick a 2.5 seconds. See, it doesn't seem like 2 seconds, but maybe it is 2 seconds cooldown. But you don't want to waste a global, so you're going to use Tiger Palm in between globals, and then once you're done with the Thunder Focus T charges, because you get 2 charges, remember, with Focus Thunder, right? So Boom. Blackout kick. Hopefully it resets. If it does, you do even more damage. Way of the Crane is so much fun. And you do so much damage. You do so much damage. So let's see how much damage we can do. Obviously, this is probably cut in half or probably nerfed in PvP. But let's just see how much damage we can do. Let's just see damage done. Let's see. So I'm just gonna use Crane. So health pools are at 242,000 right now. So I'm gonna Thunder Focus T. I'm gonna Mana T. I'm gonna Crane on the global. Rising Sun Kick. Tiger Palm. Rising Sun Kick. Tiger Palm. Rising Sun Kick. Blackout Kick. Reset on Rising Sun Kick. Tiger Palm. Crane's done. Got one more. Rising Sun Kick. 333,000 damage with Way of the Crane up. You could see Rising Sun Kick does an insane amount of damage. My max hit was what? Was 56,000. 56,000 Rising Sun Kick. It's not as strong in PvP, but it's still insane. That's still insane. So even though you don't use Crane often, I think it's pretty important to know the rotation of Way of the Crane, because there are situations where you're going to want to use it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Way of the Crane rotation. We could talk about macros if you guys want. So these are my macros. I don't use that many of them. I think the most important ones is probably ring at your cursor. So what does that mean? Normally, with ring of peace, you're going to want to, you place it, you have to press it, and then you have to target it, and then you have to press it again. This completely skips that whole targeting, so it does take some practice, because as soon as you hit it, it's going to place it. Boom. You don't have time to target it. So it makes it faster, though, for interrupts. And then there's not many others. I think this is a stop casting macro, so this goes right here. What it does is it stop casts, and if I'm not casting, it casts Tiger Palm. And then I use Arena 1, 2, 3 macros. Where are they? I should have Disarm 1, 2, 3. Yeah, here's Arena 1, 2, 3, Arena 1, 2, 3. So these are my in-cap macros for Arena 1, 2, 3. And then I have one for Disarm 1, 2, 3, but I don't. Are they over here? Yeah, Disarm 1, 2, 3. They were question marks because I'm not running it, but if I'm playing Disarm, they should. You can see Disarm. So that's for disarming Arena 1, 2, 3. And then probably the most important one, this is more for, this one is really good. Party 1, 2, 3 dispel macros. And then provoke. So what this provoke macro does, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What this provoke macro does is it taunts Arena Pet 1. If there's no pet, it taunts Arena Pet 2. If there's no Arena Pet 3, it just casts provoke on normal target. It's really good for keeping rogues and druids in combat. And then finally, I think probably one of the most important ones is, where is it? Where's my Life Cocoon macro? Which one? This one right here. So this is, by the way, paste spin. So this is paste spin right here. This is, you can find, I'll put in the description below. But here's all my Weakauras right here. Weakauras is an add-on, for those of you who don't know. Here are my scripts that I run for Arena 1, 2, 3, putting myself at the bottom of the raid, and then on Tiger's Peak, I don't like the snow, so I just run that, set to 0. Oh, also, this weather is also good for the orange that's in Blade's Edge Arena, because it gets super orange sometimes. It's really annoying, it lags me. And then here are all my macros, literally every single macro I have right here. So I'll just put in, actually, I'm pretty sure it's in the description of all my videos, every single one. So yeah, that's the paste spin for all my macros, but this is the most important one. So what this does is, it's right here. If I'm not targeting anyone, so I'm not targeting anybody right now, and if I hit, it doesn't use Life Cocoon. So this is good for RBGs. It does not use Life Cocoon at all, but as soon as I target somebody, boom. So that should be pretty much it. Those are your talents. Oh, those are your talents. Those are your PvP talents. Those are your major essences, minor essences, macros, healing rotation. Now, if we could talk about what you do as soon as you get into the arena. So as soon as the arena starts, what you're going to want to do is you want to put statue down, place port down. Those are two very important things you should do, and then start channeling Soothing Mist on whoever the team is going to start going on. If it's an RMP and they basically get a guaranteed opener, unless you're Death Knight or Warrior can get them out, or you can get them out with spinning crane kick, they're pretty much going to get the opener. So start casting Soothing Mist on them, and then from there, just make sure you're probably not playing crane. So what you can do is you could just just chill behind a pillar, and then just hang out, cast some Soothing Mist, Enveloping Mist, keep your Mist on everybody, Vivify when you have to. One important thing is if you think the team is going to go you, you're going to want to stay away from your port. And then always keep changing your port. Always change the position of your port behind a pillar. It makes them second guess, and all it takes is that split second for them to think you're over here. And let's say the Death Knight or the DK, or not that, Demon Hunter fell versus over here, but you're actually over here. They just waste mobility. It gives you more time to recover. That's important. And that's pretty much it. You trade cooldowns for cooldowns. Always try to use the Life Cocoon, and then try to use Revival to dispel dots or CC if you're not playing against like a dot cleave. Use this trinket when there aren't many interrupts, or if you to bait an interrupt, just use it for damage. Try to Fortifying Brew before you get stunned if you think they're gonna go you. Ring of Peace to interrupt. Save a teammate if they go into a smoke bomb. Stuff like that. Crane for damage, because it's still insane damage. Trust me. The healing isn't good, but the damage... God, you can do so much damage. I'm telling you, it's insane, man. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, reset on the Rising Sun Kick. Absolutely insane. Another reset. Bam. 356,000 damage. Love it. And that's pretty much it. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please let me know. If I forgot anything, please let me know. I will be happy to re-upload or answer any of your questions. As always, have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you later.